One. What is up, guys? What is going on? How y'all doing today? How you doing, Bobby? What's up, man?
What up, Coach? How you doing, man?
Oh, dude.
We had an eventful evening last night with 251. It was I think it lived up to expectations in some ways and kind of fell short in others.
Oh, I 100% agree on that, man. It was you know, we were kind of talking about the other day of this possibly being the best card all year, and
Easily with the talent, easily.
hmm and like you said, it was kind of underwhelming, and at in spots,
Mm-hmm.
you know, underwhelming in spots. In some spots, it lived up to the dang hype.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Karam? Yeah, dude, it was. What do you think of the fights, Karam? But yeah, it was. For better or worse, it was fun though. It was dang
It
fun. We're
it
you
was a
know,
good watch. It
mhm.
was a good watch. It was good.
And once again, let's thank Dana White for keeping us entertained throughout this quarantine. You know, just the train keeps rolling. The train keeps rolling for sure.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. No, he's full steam ahead and just from card to card, move it on, and he's put this thing together pretty well, man. And they've for the most part they've gone relatively well for an
Yeah,
overwhelming majority of it. They've gone relatively good.
yeah. And then what we talk about, like what has he had three tests basically come back, and he just sent those fighters home. I
Yes,
mean,
three over the last what 4 months.
yeah, 2.5, 3, 2.5, 3 months. I mean, so honestly, it was an awesome event. So we want to get started with the Van Zant and who was that fight, Bobby? It was Van Zant and
Um,
Rebus.
Rebus, yeah, Van Zant Rebus, yep.
That's right, Van Zant Rebus. So what do you think of that one?
I mean, I don't know about you, Coach, but from just from watching the fight, it it didn't seem like Van Zant was in that fight, like mentally, physically, her heart wasn't in it. Like I think she had other stuff on her mind, and I think that's a huge contributing factor to why she got beat.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, we talked about it, on that preview stream we did. She was, really open about wanting a new contract. Wanting to try to leverage this in a way where, she's going to get paid. And
Oh yeah, she was gonna
unfortunate,
try.
yeah, she's going to try for sure. And I thought it was one of those things where it was like, I, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you said, it was just underwhelming. Like I was expecting a lot more from Van Zant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep. I was absolutely expecting more from Van Zant in that fight. That is a fact. Yep.
Oh yeah. But credit to who did she fight? Was
Rebus.
Andrade Rivas? I'm sorry. That's right. I'm sorry. Rivas.
Rebus.
She. I mean, catching her with the armbar
Mm-hmm.
and doing it now, stomach down. Cranking it that way. I mean, credit to her. She was
I'm
like,
surprised she actually could get enough torque to to what I mean, with the
mhm.
position that she was in, because you really have to, like, being on the ground like that. You really have to
I mean,
pull
yeah, that's why you see them on their backs a lot, just cranking that thing, using
backwards.
their
Yeah,
using their stomach and sternum as just like a focal point to
like
crank on that
the
elbow.
lever as
Yeah.
leverage.
Karam, you're just now getting the UFC, dude. Dude, you're not.
You picked the
You're
right time.
Yeah, for
You
real.
picked
I
the
mean,
right time.
it's me personally. I like it a lot better in boxing. You know, Again, that's just me
Lots more
personally.
strategy involved.
Yeah, and it's a lot more action. Sometimes, sometimes there's a lot more action than boxing, but it's a it's a fun sport for sure, man. I mean, but yeah, Rivas, I, you know, who would I know she talked about taking a break and just going, but where do you kind of see her as kind of a rising star in that division, possibly? I know
Well,
she's
that's the
relatively young.
she took out Van Zant, but she beat somebody else that was she beat some the name is beyond me at the moment, but she's beat some good fighters. Like Van Zant's no pushover.
Hmm.
She's good. She's
Oh yeah.
she's a solid fighter. She's she's it's not like she's a pushover, and she Rebus took care of her pretty handily. It was I didn't like seeing that from Van Zant though. Her mind being somewhere else, like not
Hmm.
you could tell. You could just tell from the opening bell, she just wasn't in it. She wasn't in
Well,
it.
even like when they made the decision, you know, her face was like whatever,
Yeah.
like just kind of
Yeah.
happy it was over with. You know.
She was more happy to get out of the cage than anything.
Then yeah, I 100% agree with that. You know, Karam. Uh, I was like, yeah, if there's nothing on. I mean, why not UFC? It's live, dude. Like we were saying, again, credit Dana White for just being just a straight up G and just getting us through this time. You know, we got another event on Wednesday at Fight Island, next Saturday in Fight Island, and on the 25th.
Yeah.
And so they're going to do like 4 events in like 3 or 4 weeks
Yep.
at Fight Island. So there's going to be a lot more fights coming down the pike there.
Yeah.
Now, did you see how many tests he said they did?
Um Pre-fight
Just
stuff, right?
yeah, just that week. 8,000.
Yeah, yeah, it was I was going to say it was in the it was in the thousands. I know that.
Yeah, over 8,000 tests. I mean, I cannot like
But he did say that for that card they were going to test pretty much everybody involved like multiple times a day.
is it. Yeah, it is on Chrome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're only in UFC, especially those free events coming to those fight nights.
The fight nights are awesome.
There's all. I mean, there's usually some really good young talent there. What's going on, Depressed Steeler fan? How you doing, man?
I said Usman by decision, but but I wanted more of just a stand and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me and you both, I think, man. Me and you both for sure. But yeah, like you said, man, the Van Zant, she's like, we'll see. We'll see what happens to her. You know, Dana kind of commented on the post fight. You know, some reporter asked him about Van Zant's contract, and he said, "Well, good luck. Hopefully, she can leverage it." Because did you watch her? He basically said, did you see her tonight? Because that's not going to help her. Essentially, is kind of what I got from that comment he made.
Well, yeah, because you can't tell me he didn't. You can't tell me that he didn't hear her say, "Well, I'm going to try and leverage this stuff," and like that he's just replying back to that by saying, "Well, I mean, like you can't really leverage it when you just went in there and basically just showed the whole, the whole pay-per-view audience that you could have cared less about this fight."
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say she went in there and demolished Rivas, which is what should have happened.
Right. And now she'll be sitting a lot better with her contract stuff for sure.
Then she would have, if she went in there and actually fought, she would have been a lot better off than being like, you know what, basically giving Dana White the middle finger. You know what I mean?
And you know as well as I do, and you've watched this sport enough where if Dana White feels like he's being disrespected, especially by one of his fighters,
you don't last long.
Yeah, you're not going to be in the UFC very long. you are not going to be in the UFC very long.
No,
Well,
he'll let your contract run out and just not re-sign you, or he'll just cut you, or he'll just say, you know what, here's the rest,
yeah,
here's the remainder of your contract. See you later.
yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
All right, this next one, man. This one kind of, it got fight of the night, which really kind of surprised me. I wouldn't have picked this one to be fight of the night, honestly. You know, Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade.
That was a fun one. That
Yes.
was a fun one to watch because you want to talk about just standing toe to toe and just swinging. That was a fun fight to watch.
Andrade has some power
Yeah,
in her hands, man.
yeah. But once again, we talked about this earlier. Like they don't look like they should. You shouldn't be at those girls' size. You shouldn't be able to throw that, dude.
Well,
They throw harder than they like.
then it looks. Well, you look
Yeah.
at Rose, she's real skinny, and Andrade is like, she's thick. Like she is toned out.
And built. Oh yeah, built.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, but she has some dang power.
yeah.
She has power. And she's trying to go a few times for those slams and takedowns, and Rose did an awesome job in defending. Yeah, of defending.
Yeah. Yep.
But you could tell Rose was in the fight last night because she wore it. She dang wore it.
Oh shit, dude. Rose took an absolute beating. She took an absolute beating. But see, that's what a good fight is. Both fighters just absolutely wore out at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Depressed Steeler for dude. I agree on that, man. We'll that was we'll talk about that in a little bit, man, for sure. Because I got a few opinions on that one, for sure, man.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that earlier about how there's a real being a title fight too. It's like where do you. We'll get into that. Being a we'll get into that for sure.
Yeah, man. But I thought Rose looked good. She kind of looked like the older Namajunas, just using her boxing and just being dominant on the feet.
I underestimated Rose in this fight. I did. I underestimated Rose.
She again, former champion though, man. You cannot disregard that former champion. What's going on, Brayton? How you doing, man?
Brayton bought in the house. But yeah, like dude, I will fully admit I underestimated her. I thought Andrade was gonna run that fight.
Did you watch the fight before where Rose got knocked out?
Before she fought this one?
Yes.
I saw highlights of it. I never saw the whole fight. I saw highlights of it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what it was. I mean, and
what's up, Jeremy?
Essentially, it was just a dang. She just landed her in the head. She just slammed her on top of her head, and she went to sleep.
Oh, that's the one where she dropped her on
picked
the suplex,
her up,
right?
and and she just power drove her. Drove her into her head first into the octagon and knocked her out.
Yeah.
And it was like.
It was quick too, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Like I said, it was in the second round, but still, it was.
No, like it was like the first minute of the second round, wasn't it?
2, I think. Yeah, 2 minutes. I mean, and you could tell Andrade was trying to. Get her up and slam her again, but Rose did an awesome job just defending her wrestling and her jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna be thrown around like that.
Right, and I think she was a lot more focused than she was, and
I think a lot of people underestimated that Andrade Namajunas fight.
I think so
too. I think a lot of people that fight kind of flew under the radar.
I did. I thought
it was going to be that good.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to be that good.
I don't know how to say this. Women's MMA for me is hit or miss. It's either really good and really like high level stuff, or it's
They're chasing each other around the octagon and there's not
yeah,
much
it's I'm
fighting
not
going on.
really like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
either really entertaining or really boring. You
yeah,
know, it's there's not really a middle ground in there for me.
yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, depressed Steeler fan, we're gonna get into the Holloway fight too. We've talked about that. We talked about that for a bit too. We're gonna get into that in the stream too. It's so. What's next, Coach? Running them up.
It's the Peter Yan and Jose
Aldo.
Aldo.
What do you got, man? What do you think? What did you think of that
We
fight?
just saw a star being born in Peter
Yep.
Yan. He's going
Yep.
to run through that bantamweight division. You know, he is a star, and he's a guy the UFC can now market like the Eagle in those Eastern European. I mean, a star's born last night. A star was stinking born. You know, Peter Yan. And what I tell you, what did I say the other day? What word? A killer, right? I think
Yeah.
I think the word I used. I mean, he's a killer, a savage. He just the
Yeah.
first 3 rounds, when Jose Aldo hit him with those leg kicks and like knocked him off his feet a few times,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, the old Jose's back. What's going, Water King?
What's up, Water King?
The old Jose Aldo's back. I'm like, oh, because
Yeah.
early in Jose's career, he would just eat your legs up with his leg kicks.
Dude, I liked that back and forth for the first 3 rounds. That was Jose getting some good shots in, and then he popped Aldo like 2 times with two good real good combos, and it kind of, you saw it in Jose's face. He kind of gets surprised a little bit.
Well, and Jose hit Yan, I think, once in like the second, I think, and Peter Yan's like, oh crap.
When he was that the right, that was the right caught
Yes.
him with the right, and he wasn't
there.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it knocked him. Yeah, it knocked
And
him backwards.
He kind of did that number, and he's like, "Oh, okay." But did you see where he got hit in the? I thought he was about to end him in the first. Was the first or second
when he caught him with the uppercut?
No, on the ground. Oh, it was the first. Aldo drug him to the ground. Peter Yan was on top of him, and Peter hit him with that liver shot.
Oh yeah, when he was When
it
he
was
was
like
he was like
20 seconds.
When he was bent over top of him, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was like 20 seconds, 15 seconds left in the first round. Yan hit him with that liver shot, and he winced, and Yan just started trying to finish it.
You could see when he hit him with that shot, you could see like you could see the legs go. They went for a little bit.
Oh
for
yeah,
like a second.
Yeah, I think Aldo was lucky there was that much time on the clock, just because.
If he had another 10 seconds, that would have been interesting. That would have been real interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Like I said, we just saw a star being born last night, and
the shocking thing for me was it wasn't the first 3 rounds, because the first 3 it was an awesome exchange, back and forth, and them measuring each other up and taking the shots when they were there. Dude, it was about halfway through the fourth where I was like man, like this. I was like, Yan may win. I was like, Yan may win this fight. Like
when Yan kind of started taking over,
yeah, and
like he started winning those exchanges.
When they I don't know if you could see it, but when they started the fourth, Yan kind of popped up out of his corner, and you could tell he still
and
had
Jose took that deep breath,
and stood up. I was like, I don't know, man. That's to me, that's what you could tell. Aldo was kind of gassed.
Yeah, but did you ever hear about him like cutting weight to 45 to 145? How hard it was for him?
Yeah, what did he have to lose? Like,
well, he walks around like at 170, 175 naturally.
Yeah,
and so when he was fighting at 45, he struggled cutting weight. Well,
Well, I know he had to lose weight for this. He had to shed some pounds to fight for this one too.
Well, here's the good thing about him. He hired himself a nutritionist, and so his cut now to 135, he said, has been the easiest been his whole career. Just because he's he's putting the right stuff in his body, making it easier for him to cut.
Yeah.
Just because he hired a nutritionist.
Karam, Jan was taking advantage of Aldo pretty good, man. He was when it didn't matter if it was he just after the fourth round after that fourth round that was tough, because I could just tell, you could tell that Aldo was struggling to keep up with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude,
hey, Water King, watch good young guys. Watch that Peter Yan. Watch
Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Watch you should
Israel,
watch
Israel Adesanya.
Adesanya's a good one. And basically, dude, you can't go wrong with the bantamweight division. That bantamweight division in UFC is
the bantam and featherweight.
Yeah, any bantamweight or featherweight in UFC, it's just stacked, dude. The guys are just stacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that ref ticked me off. I'll be honest with you in the fifth, dude. And let's talk about it. And, I think we
talked about this for a good amount of time.
Yeah, who mentioned that in the comments? I can't remember now.
Depressed.
Yeah,
depressed. Yeah. I think that was the Steeler. That was Steeler fan. Depressed Steeler fan, I think, said it.
Yeah. To me, reffing a UFC fight is one of the most difficult things to officiate probably in sports, behind big-time Division I football and NFL football.
Yeah.
Because everything happens, NFL and Division I, it's pop, pop. It's real quick.
Quick, yep.
The UFC, it's like, and you said it when we were talking about it. What did you say, Bobby? It was the whole, when do you start protecting the fighter?
Yeah, when do you, as a ref, you have to? We talked about this. Dude, how thin of a line it is. When is it, as a referee, do you have to step in and protect the fighter from his own self?
Mm-hmm.
Because those dudes, they would rather break an arm, dislocate a shoulder, or pass out before they tap out.
Oh yeah.
You would literally have to kill them to drag them out of the octagon, and you have to, as a ref, you have to dude. That's a thin line where you is this guy still? You know what it is? I think it is the hardest part is, can he still protect himself? Can this fighter?
And that's the rule. He has to be able to actively protect, and especially when you're fighting for one of those straps right there.
Mm-hmm.
When you're fighting for one of those belts, that's where, because you don't want to stop a guy in a championship fight. You don't want to be that. The ref stops early. Well, yeah. I mean, so there's that fine line, and that's just, it's tough. To me, that is the toughest thing for a referee, is to know when I need to stop it. To me, I thought the fight went on a little, probably a minute too long, or 30 seconds, 45 seconds too long.
He opened him up. Good.
My thing is, when you do this, when you're just turtled up and he's just hammering you underneath, you're not defending yourself.
When he went into that fetal position, if you're, in my opinion, if I was a ref, if you're in that fetal position, unable to, and you're not fighting back, I'm going to give you 20 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds. And if I don't see any type of defense, you're not trying to, I'll give you 20 to 30 seconds. But if that dude's just wailing on you and you're in the fetal position,
done.
Dude, that shows me that you're giving up. That shows me that you're waving the white flag and you have no fight left in you.
Yeah. Answer this one real quick. Water King, I would say, like, again, the bantamweights, featherweights, the welterweights are probably, I would say, the kind of the 3 weight classes, those divisions. I would say probably those 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's weight classes. Water King, they go by weight.
Depressed Steve, I agree. Herb Dean is he's the dude.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
If there's a championship fight, he needs to be but he can, once he retires, he cannot be the only guy that refs championship fights.
Well, you know what they should do, right? They should have him as a trainer. Train the refs.
Yeah.
They should do that. Make him a head trainer of something and have him train these guys.
Oh, yeah, I agree, Depressed Man. I mean, when Kobe Covington, his jaw.
I remember.
When he had his mouth open and he just got hit.
I remember seeing that.
Jeremy Rogan was at his doing his podcast. Him,
he wasn't calling the fights that night.
No, but he was on this podcast. They're doing like a watch along on his podcast last night. It was him, Joey Diaz, and someone else were just doing the podcast, watching the fights, and them talking about it and reacting to it. He does that.
They would do like post-fight reactions.
Yeah, or no, during the fight. So they would watch the fight, and they were just kind of talking. They would just shoot the breeze between friends.
Yeah.
And just kind of comment every once in a while on the fight. Khabib Gaethje in September. I don't know. I hope so, because I want to see Khabib back in there, man.
I don't know.
They have to. If
would
Khabib
would they fight them two, or would they put Khabib against?
Well, Gaethje's the next in line for that strap. That's the thing. Gaethje's the next one in line for the. I think he's the next one in line for that strap for the belt. But my thing is, if Khabib doesn't fight within the next few months, they need to strip him of the title.
Yeah,
because he's not being active.
Yeah,
he's not. It's not fair for those guys who are fighting.
There's 2 or 3 guys that could give him a run for his money right now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. His wrestling, just puts people away, and he's just such a great wrestler.
You don't think Gaethje could at least challenge him a little bit, though?
No, just because of the wrestling. Khabib just will maul you. He will get on top of you and just maul you and maul you, maul you. I think if Gaethje can get a few shots in, like, again, he's
got to keep Khabib off the mat, though. If Gaethje can keep him off the mat, that's an interesting fight. Because both of those dudes, the jiu-jitsu, the striking, the submissions are the same. The submissions
Gaethje throws bombs.
Are pretty close.
Yeah,
but Gaethje literally his hands are like sledgehammers.
He hits so hard. That is to me, that's the equalizer right there, is how hard he hits,
how hard he throws. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, we saw last night if you can't wrestle against a wrestler, it's over.
But here's the thing too, right? People don't, throw hard, miss hard, Well,
it's like Conor and Khabib, honestly, Conor was a great striker and Khabib just owned him for 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
you know what people underestimate on Khabib? Because he doesn't look like he is. Dude, he's fast.
He's strong too.
He's fast. People underestimate how fast that dude actually is.
Mm-hmm.
They underestimate how fast he can go from the clinch to sliding his elbow underneath for a rear from a rear naked choke or a triangle choke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that dude can do that faster than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, but that'll be a good fight. It needs to happen. You feel bad for Khabib because he lost his father, a month or so ago. But dude,
But you
owe it
you
to
know that's going to motivate him too. You know that, right?
yes. Oh yeah. We're gonna see a real motivated Khabib coming back.
I
Coming
bet
back
he
to
fights around Thanksgiving. I bet they fight him around Thanksgiving.
that late though. I mean, it's been when was
Well,
the last
maybe October then. Maybe October.
October, September, October, man. But I really don't think. I don't know. I hope so because
You
I
never
like
know though. Maybe they fight him on Fight Island. Maybe they save him for Fight Island.
maybe. All right. The next one.
So here we go.
Did you watch this one
me
finally?
And you both. This is one me and you both were looking forward to.
And I just want to put this out there to y'all, to the chat right here. I was 5-0. Just want to,
Yeah.
because I went opposite of you. I went opposite of you twice. Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway.
Dude, Volkanovski's the freaking truth. That dude. He showed out in that fight,
dude. But I had it 3-2, Max Holloway. And I think if you listen to Dana White after the fight, he goes to ask the media who thinks Volkanovski won that fight. Yeah, he says who thinks Volkanovski won that fight. Nobody in here. Okay. I mean, that's the thing. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges.
Yeah.
Don't do it because it will not end well for you.
Well, yeah, because then you don't control. Then you have no control over what happens.
Yeah, like Holloway owned him the first 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. The first 2 rounds went to Holloway all the way.
No contest. No contest.
Now
that first one, the second one was a little closer though. The first one Holloway took hands down.
Watching the first one, thinking, "Oh, okay, Max Holloway is about to run away with this thing. Mm-hmm. He's about to get Alexander may get 1 round." Mm-hmm. By the way it was going, I'm thinking, okay, maybe 1 round Volkanovski's going to get.
Volk stepped up in that second round, though. He did. He stepped up.
Again, I thought Max won the second. Volkanovski, I think, won the 4th and the 5th. Mm-hmm. In that third round, to me, was like it was kind of going both. It was going back and forth.
Yeah, no, that one was the closest. Like, I don't know, man. It was. I think that was You know what it was going to come down to? How you look at, like, all right, that was a point. All right, no, that wasn't a point. This was a point. It's what do you determine as? You know what I mean? Like, what do the judges determine as?
What's
proper takedowns, proper strikes, proper that. You leave it to the details, and nothing good ever happens when you leave it to the details.
And depressed Taylor, I agree, man. Volkanovski barely took him down, and I thought Holloway matched him strike for strike.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think what hurt Max Holloway in the 4th round was he wasn't as busy as Volkanovski. Volkanovski was actually throwing leg kicks, jabs. He was actually throwing stuff, and Holloway was looking for a shot, so he wasn't looking as busy as Volkanovski, and I think that hurt him in the 4th, honestly. And do we see Volkanovski Holloway 3 after Volkanovski's won 2 decisions?
I think because of how close the fights have been, I think we're gonna see one more.
I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. It looks like Holloway was trying to work a flying knee in the fight. Yeah, like it looks like he was trying to catch him, like going but he didn't.
It looked like he was gonna try. He looked like he lined him up for once, and he saw that
missed.
He saw that Volk. Volk turned it. Like he was lining him up for one.
Right, and we talk about Peter Yan being a star being born. Mm-hmm. Volkanovski it's another one where a star, I think, was born in front of our eyes last night. Beating the greatest featherweight of all time 2 times in a row.
Twice, yeah.
In a row. Twice in a row.
And dude, and like don't get it twisted. Holloway's people are like, well, Holloway's he's lost a step, and people have said that.
No,
I've heard critics say that his stamina isn't what it used to be. I've heard people say that. Dude, he's one of the greatest featherweight fighters the UFC has seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. Again, he's the guy that dethroned Aldo.
Yeah,
let's remember that when Aldo was running through the featherweights, he dethroned him the second time after Conor retired. Yep. So, I mean, again, one of the greatest of all time. You feel bad. I feel bad for him, though. Like, my face, I can tell you this. My face.
I wanted to see him. When with like a minute and a half to go, Holloway had him lined up for there was an opening there of like 10 seconds where he could have thrown a combo in there and ended it, but he hesitated. He hesitated it, and it cost him.
Well, in the press Steelers for deal, I agree with you. Volkanovski kept talking about all week, I'm gonna knock him out. I will leave no question that I'm the better man after this fight. Max is one fight that never gets up and take a beating and go another. Dude, yes.
Holloway is tough as nails.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the greatest featherweights of all time, and he's probably one of the greatest pound for pound, fighters the UFC's had. But
one of the in order to be in that sport, dude, you cannot have a chin made of glass. Like,
no,
dude, you have to be able to. If you can't take a beating, you can only run so far in that cage before you get caught. You know what I mean? You got to have a certain amount of
cojones.
Grit. Because if you can't take a punch to the chin, a couple of times in a fight, you're not going to make it in that. And I've seen Holloway take some freaking shots over the years.
Yeah, and just keep coming.
Yeah.
What I thought he did a better job this fight than last was he didn't back up a lot from Vulcan. He kept coming forward, which I thought, the first round or so, I think Volkanovski was expecting him to kind of back up like he was in the first fight. And when Holloway just kept standing in there and kept coming forward, I think kind of like shocked him a little bit.
Yeah, you know what Volk was expecting? Holloway to use the jab and keep him at at a distance, and instead Holloway stepped right up to him and right in the pocket and just started throwing.
But which was weird because Volkanovski has a longer reach.
Yeah.
Max is the taller guy. Like the height wise is like, I mean, they're a good, what, 4 or 5 inches.
I think
6 inches.
I think Holloway had a 4-inch height on him. I think 4 inches.
I mean,
height.
Like it's a big
difference.
Difference when you watch them. But I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with the decision at all. Like, my roommate watching, they announced and still, and I went, what the crap? Are you freaking serious? Karam, yeah, in my opinion, I think he won the fight last night. Yes.
But like you said, you don't want to ever leave it. You don't want to ever take fate out of your hands.
Mm-hmm. And again, Dana White addressed this with his post-fight press conference. He says, it looks like we got to do a better job on freaking refs and judges because holy crap, that was bad. Yeah, Karam, I do think Max Holloway got I wouldn't say robbed, but I think
he got a little hosed in that decision a little bit.
I think Holloway won the fight, honestly. I think Holloway won the fight.
The first round went to Holloway. Second round, I think Holloway squeaked out Volkanovski barely, though. I mean, I'm talking like maybe by a point. I think
Yeah.
he got the second. The third round, that's leave it up to whoever, but that was the one that determined it. That
Hmm.
third round
4 and 5.
because Volk owned those
Well,
those 2 rounds.
well, here's the thing too, and you appreciate Volkanovski doing this. Max Holloway probably won 2 of the first 3,
Mm-hmm.
and Volkanovski had a little sense of urgency the fourth and fifth round. Like he was fighting because like he was behind in the points,
Yeah, yeah.
and he fought like that.
He
And
took
I
a lot
thought,
more risks yeah.
and I hate saying this, and I thought Holloway fought not to lose instead of
Instead of to
trying to
win.
win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he tried to fight. Just let's point him to death again and see what happens.
Well, you saw like as soon as the fourth rolled around, we talked about this off stream. Um, uh, just you saw who was gassed and who was not.
Yeah,
When yeah, you saw who was gassed and who was not. You could easily tell that Volk had
more in the tank.
a lot more in the tank to go, and Holloway was he was breathing real heavy
Yeah.
in both of those rounds.
Oh, I agree. Sorry about that. I 100% agree, man. I mean, it was bad. Like,
Jets Broncos talk. Welcome to the stream, man. What's going on?
what's
He
going
said
on?
that was robbery.
It
Yeah,
was.
we're talking about that, man. We're talking. We're definitely
Yeah, but I think as fight fans, I don't think they'll go right away. Volkanovski, Max Holloway 3 right
Don't make
away.
people wait.
I think that they go like 2 or 3 fights. Let Holloway kind of get some wins back underneath his belt. Let Volkanovski defend the belt a little bit against someone else,
Mm,
and then we'll get Volkanovski Holloway 3.
yeah,
Which, as a fight fan, that's awesome because I mean that was a good fight.
it
Like
was.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching Volkanovski and Max Holloway fight for 10 rounds now.
The one thing that you gotta give, like someone said, I think depressed Steeler fans, dude, Holloway, that dude is just he never like. There's
He's a
no
champ.
quitting. There's
He's a
no quit
champion.
in him.
He's a champion.
Yeah,
You
there's
know.
no quit in him whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean,
Even the last 30 seconds, like the last 30 seconds of the fifth round, them two guys, I mean, you could tell they had gone to war with each other.
oh man, and yeah, and it's just like you feel bad for the guy, but I mean,
As
Max.
fans, we got an awesome fight.
Oh my gosh! And again, I think we've seen a star in Volkanovski being born. We've seen him beat what's arguably the best featherweight of all time 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Volkanovski is going to hold that belt for a while. I really do,
Maybe 3 fights, probably.
or more. Who knows? But he's good. Like he is good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, coach. The fight we've been wanting to talk about. Masvidal and Uz.
So much hype. We thought they were going to like drag both those guys out of the octagon, on stretchers.
Yeah.
The
Both of them
way
would
we were
have to be
talking
taken
about
on
it,
stretchers because they hate each other so much.
the way we were talking about it, it just turned into a grappling clinch fight. Like if there were fans in the stands,
It was a wrestling clinic.
they would be booing that fight if there were fans in the stands
Mm-hmm.
because it was just. I understand people don't like that kind of fight because it's not exciting,
It's technical, though.
but this guy right here, and he gets he is
Yeah.
still UFC welterweight champion.
And here's the thing, right? Usman had a respect for Masvidal's striking ability, because he knew, he's like, I don't want to stand toe to toe with this dude, because if I mess up once, I'm gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, and all it takes is one shot
Mm-hmm.
to knock someone out.
Dude, I've seen Masvidal knock people out from out of nowhere.
And here's and Dana White kind of addressed this to the media, and I don't know how true it is. He just addressed it. He said, "Don't play the 6-day fight thing." He said he basically said there was about 2 or 3 weeks in there where we were up in the air, but we were trying to make Usman Masvidal the the premier fight,
Mm-hmm.
the headline fight.
Yep.
But the numbers just didn't work out, so we went on to Gilbert Burns. And Burns got the Rona, and Masvidal, they paid Masvidal what he wanted, and we got Masvidal Usman, which you're right. Masvidal was, I think he was trying to, I don't know, showman, but like, I think he was trying to get
It's
under
just
Usman.
who he is.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get under Usman's skin just so Usman would go make a mistake, and so Masvidal will catch him. That's what I mean. But again, Masvidal is he's a beast.
He's a knockout artist.
But
he's like me and you were. He's not known for the
wrestling,
the grappling ability, the wrestling, the pure wrestling aspect of the MMA. He's just not. He's not on the same level as Usman is, and Usman's camp was perfect. They said, keep him on the ground. If you got to keep him on the ground for the whole match, keep it on the mat.
Because, Bigsby said in the fight, he says, this is not a very entertaining fight, but Usman, it wins fights. Mm-hmm. Doing what he did wins fights.
Yep.
And he is a really good, I knew he was a good wrestler, but I didn't realize, how, dominant.
How technical he could be when he needed to be.
Like the foot stomps. Just stomp on his toes. Stomp on his toes repeatedly, getting those shoulder shots.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing little stuff just to inflict damage and get points, and those just add up. Like he spent more time in the clinch than he did standing up.
Yeah, and you could tell that was their plan, and they they did kind of show a little bit of respect for one another at the end of the match. At the end of the fight, it was, but like Usman knew, he's like, if I'm gonna stand toe to toe with this dude, I need to be for all 5 rounds. If we're gonna stand toe to toe and swing, I better know what I'm doing, because if I mess up once, I'm going to sleep.
And when I thought the fight, he was not going to win the fight, about 30 seconds into the second round.
When he
threw those 4 or 5 combinations, he missed, and Usman just takes him down and lays on him and wrestles him the whole round.
Yeah,
it just stays on top of him the whole round, and there's nothing Masvidal could have done.
One thing I noticed in that Masvidal fight towards the end was that you could tell Masvidal was getting frustrated at the end, that he wouldn't. That Usman wouldn't stand up with him. He was getting mad that Usman wouldn't stand up and stand toe to toe and swing with him.
Yeah, and I agree, man. I agree. Sorry, I agree. Masvidal DS2 needs to happen, because that will be and put the BMF title up.
Yeah,
put the BMF title up for that fight, man. What's going on, Goose? What's up, bro?
What up, Goose?
How you doing, brother?
Hey, Steeler fan. I think we were all shocked that they kind of dapped each other up at the end and showed each other a little bit of respect, because it's well documented they hate each other. It's well documented that they don't like each other.
But I did like what Masvidal what he said after during the press conference. He said,
that Uz was the better man.
He's the better man. He's the better man that day. And we don't need to talk to promote fights. No,
There's two skilled enough fighters that everybody
yeah,
will do that for him.
exactly. And so he's like, we don't need to do that. I mean, and so which for me that kind of shows Masvidal kind of growing a little bit as a
Yeah.
fighter.
Yep.
Which I mean, again,
The maturity.
yeah, but I do like what he said though. Was I want to see someone in front of me, and I don't care who. I just want to go. So and I want to sorry, and I want to see get a few fights and try to go get that belt again.
Yeah. But see, like that's even respectful towards Zeus because he's like, I'm not going to just demand a rematch. I'm going to go fight some people,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll
And get
prove that I'm
better.
gonna come back and beat. I'm gonna prove I'm gonna come back and beat you the next time
Yeah,
we face
and get
we
better.
face
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Oh, I agree.
But
But
it
the
was
Connor thing is still.
and me and you talked about this too, Coach. That
Mm-hmm.
you don't see a lot of these MMA guys that are just straight brawlers anymore. Like
No,
you
I mean
have to be technically sound now to get into the sport, or you're gonna get beat up in there.
the age of the Clay Guidas and Robbie Lawlers, and it's done. I mean,
You
if
could
you
even
can't-
you could
if you
even
can't do jujitsu or
yeah.
wrestle, you don't. I mean, you cannot stand up. Go box if you want to stand up and throw punches. Go box or go kickbox.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will not make it in the UFC if you can't wrestle or do jiu-jitsu. It's hard. I'll say this: it's hard to do that nowadays.
Like, and you could even throw like Nate Diaz in that mix. Like
Mhm.
you could, because of the last couple fights. I don't know if you watched Nate Diaz in the last couple fights. As soon as that fight gets technical, he doesn't. He can't hang because he doesn't have that skill set. He's the pure brawler.
Yeah, I mean,
The one
yeah,
thing that saves Nate Diaz is that he is legitimately a badass when it comes to being tough as nails.
yeah. I was about to say he is tougher than probably 90% of the people in the UFC.
That is the major thing that keeps him around is that dude is absolutely that dude has a chin made of granite.
Mm-hmm.
He like the toughness I've never seen a dude in a long time that's that tough that can take that much of a beating.
The last one I remember is like Clay Guida. Clay Guida would always get in those battles. With his long hair and just blood just rushing down his face.
Dude, and he would be so beat like he would just look like hell
Yeah,
afterwards.
but tough as nails.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: the older you get,
That softens up a little bit.
that chin starts softening up, and once you get hit, it was kind of like Cowboy. They always talked about Cowboy having this iron chin. Well, crap. He has not looked good.
No.
In a few fights.
The last three fights from Covington.
He has not looked good at all, and I think it's just starting to catch up with him.
Not only the toughness, but like he's not as quick as he once was. He's nowhere near as fast as he once was.
Oh no,
nowhere near it.
And Steeler, I agree. When Diaz Connor 3 would be awesome, but they're going to have to pay him. That's the thing. They're going to have to pay Connor. If they want Connor to fight, they're going to have to pay him big money because he is making so much money on that whiskey. Like, he does not have to fight.
I was just going to say he has other venues now that are more profitable than the MMA.
The whiskey he makes is a lot more profitable.
So think about it, right? He's in like the best spot possible for him because he can say, "Look, I can draw. I can draw. You want me to fight? Like I don't have to come fight for you."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think he'll go back to boxing because let's be honest, boxing pays a lot more,
way more
than MMA.
Way more.
So I can see Connor, dipping his toe into boxing just so he can get paid some more money. Yeah. And like him and like Henry Cejudo, I can see Cejudo going to box. Francis Ngannou, I can see Francis Ngannou not fight UFC anymore.
Yeah, moving over to boxing. Yeah,
because Ngannou throws bombs.
Mm-hmm.
That dude throws some bombs.
So let's recap, Coach, for the people that are in here. I think there's 4 or 5 people that are in here. Let's
Mhm.
recap for in case anybody missed the beginning of the show. So we started off with the Van Zant fight, and what are our thoughts on
Just more disappointed in Van Sant
that
again
anything?
because
Yep.
you expect someone that's needs to get paid and needs to leverage herself as a to get a contract. You would think she would have
To
a better,
perform.
yeah, she would perform. Well, she didn't, and credit the her opponent,
Rebus.
Rebus. I
Rebus
think,
Rebus Rebus beat the snot out of her from
mhm.
first to last bell.
And I think she may be a pretty good little new fighter in that division for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have Namajunas and
Andrade,
Andrade.
which was an
Uh,
awesome fight.
one fight of the night. I think not again. Namajunas being kind of Vince's Namajunas
Mm-hmm.
boxing, standing up, making sure keeping the jab was there. You know, just being the former champion.
Mm-hmm.
Showing that former her
Showing that
her
she
be
hasn't lost a step and that
yeah exactly be
she
a
can still
champion.
fight.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Bobby?
So next up we had it was
Jan Aldo.
the Jan Aldo, and I think me and the coach basically can agree that Jan, I mean,
There's a new star in
yeah,
the UFC.
yeah,
He's
that
27 and can go.
yeah, Jan is going to be a has the possibility and the potential to be a very big name in that division for a long time. That dude proved that with the way he beat up Aldo, that dude proved that he can hang.
Yeah. Then we got Volkanovski and Max Holloway.
Kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing. As the last fight. Don't Volk basically showed he is not to be underestimated, and he's going to be another name that you could hear a lot.
I mean, just a star.
Yeah.
Just a star, man. You know?
And to stand toe to toe with Holloway the way he did, like the dude proved that he's going to be around for a long time.
Oh, 100%.
The dude proved that he's going to be a long that name's going to be around for a long time, Coach.
Oh, 100%, man.
And I like Volkanovski's style. I like that style of fighting. I think it's I think I like that style. I like that style of fight. That no quit, just
Go.
0 to 100. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I like that style of fighting.
Yeah, just go. Yeah, and again, just another star. I
Yeah,
think, I think another star. I think we saw another star being born last night,
yeah, yeah.
and the last one, Masvidal Usman,
I mean,
underwhelming. What we were talking
but see,
about.
like we expected. You know what I think the UFC world expected two titans that hate each other to stand toe to toe and basically just throw and see who comes out on top.
Yeah,
And credit to the Usman camp knowing that Masvidal is that dangerous and he is that dude where if you slip up once, he will knock you out and end a fight. And they game planned for that. They said, well, we're not going to let him do that because we're going to keep him on the mat. Perfect. As much as we didn't want to see it, let's admit, dude, perfect game plan. Perfect game plan. Take Masvidal out of his element, put him on the mat, and win it that way.
And still, and
Yeah.
still, and he's still the UFC welterweight champion.
Yeah.
You know,
It,
so
hey,
wins
win.
fights.
Sometimes you got to win, and it ain't pretty. But as
Yeah,
long as you win,
exactly, man. But Fight Island, the first fight in 4 events. The UFC is going to put on this month, and it was successful.
oh, dude, it was a six. As so, there were way more entertaining moments than there were
Hmm.
like downs. That was an overall good card.
And I'll say this: the one fight that was not on the main card that I really enjoyed was the light heavyweight fight. The last fight
The
in
last fight of the prelims,
the
right?
the,
The
fe-
last prelim
the
fight.
feature fight in the
Yeah.
prelims. Those two light heavyweights. That young guy from the Czech Republic. Holy crap! Like he was head forward, hands down, kind of cocky,
Yeah.
and he knocked that veteran out. I mean, I think he's going to end up being a problem in that
In that
light.
division.
Well, which is good because that division needs some young talent being
Yeah.
infused in it. That division and the heavyweight division needs some more young talent.
Yeah. You know what the thing though is it's hard finding dudes that are that big, that are that athletic. Because you have to be athletic to do that.
Well, usually if they're that big and that athletic, they're playing football or
Yeah.
basketball. You know, they're playing another sport where they're getting paid a lot more money to do that
To do yeah.
than the fight. Like Greg Hardy, used to be with the Cowboys defensive end. He's fighting now. He's not doing a horrible job. But what's the biggest name in the heavyweight division? Stipe Miocic.
Miocic, I think, is the biggest
Yeah,
name.
Stipe, Cormier, and Francis Ngannou. Those, I mean, just off the top of my head, those three. And after that, it's like,
And Nagano's kind of lost that polish on his name a little
well,
bit.
when he got beat by Stipe, like he
Yeah.
did, he was kind of labeled as this guy that will take your head off
Mm-hmm.
if he hits you. If he
Yep.
hits you, he would take your head off. And Stipe just said, "Nope, you're not."
I know.
And Stipe
I
did what
know.
Stipe does and just owns people for 5 rounds.
People underestimate Stipe though. They do. They underestimate him a lot.
Because he's not flashy.
Yeah.
He's not flashy. He's just, and I can't remember who said it. He's kind of that working. He's kind of the fighter for the working class.
I was just gonna say he's like the blue collar dude that just goes into the octagon and performs and does what he's got to do and comes out.
He works, punches the clock, goes in, punches the clock out, goes back to work. I mean, he does it. He's not flashy. I mean, not flashy. Just he's solid. I mean, and that's what the UFC can depend on him to be a solid fighter.
So Depressed Dealer Fan says that will most likely be
Yeah,
DC's last fight he ever seen. He even said.
I bet so. I mean, but you think about it. I mean, DC, he's on the wrong. I think he's almost 40.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age.
But he does such a great job commentating, like calling fights.
Yeah.
He does such a I enjoy listening to David Cormier call a UFC fight.
Him and Rogan need to do the fights from now on.
Yes.
When him and Rogan do fights and they jump up and down and
well, they need to be able to be next to each other and so they can grab each other.
Their reactions are awesome.
Well, they're fans. I mean, you can tell they are true fans of the sport.
Like I told you, the best Rogan reaction I've ever seen was when Holly Holm kicked Ronda Rousey in the head. Just the straight up eyes bugging out of Joe Rogan's head, the pure shock factor because he couldn't believe what just happened.
again, my favorite one is when him and Cormier bite each other and they like grab each other and like hold on to each other because they can't believe what they just saw.
What they just saw, yeah.
Yes, again, but they're true fans of the sport.
Yeah. But see, and those are the best commentators of the sport because they put that energy into the mic and out there, and it's like, you know what I mean? It gets other people excited too.
Yeah, yeah, and I know Rogan. I think he basically said if he can avoid, like he wouldn't. I don't. I think he'll call stuff in the states, but
Yeah.
until this thing kind of like
Dies down. He doesn't want
dies
to
down,
travel.
he's not going to go. He's not going to travel because crap. He has his family, and his podcast is doing awesome. So why would he
Risk
risk
it.
getting
Why would he risk
sick?
it? Yeah.
Yeah, risk getting sick and risk his financial situation right now.
Yeah.
And so, but again, it was I thought it was a good card overall. You know,
No, dude,
Da-
it was an entertaining card. It was. They did a good job.
Dana White has my money.
Oh, dude, if I could, I would have given him mine too.
He has my $70, which if you think about it, $70 for a fight, that's really not bad.
It's not bad.
I mean, I remember when they were just like 50, like standard definition was like 50,
It was
55.
like $49.99. Yeah.
Yeah, and like HD was like $60. And so they've gone up a little bit, but it's not bad. If you get 4 or 5 people at the house,
And you just divide it. Yeah.
yeah, and order food and just split everything, it's really not that bad of a, like me and my roommate split it, and it's $35 a piece.
Yeah.
To watch 5 hours of fighting.
And to be honest, that card warranted that money. That card
Yes.
warranted that money.
Now there's some cards where like I wouldn't pay $70 for that.
But you looked at that card and you were like, "Yup, he's getting my money."
Well, that's what I do. I mean, I'll go look at the cards. If I like it, I'll pay my money.
Yeah.
Like it depends on fighters too. Like I'll buy a card just to watch. Like when Conor was fighting, if Conor McGregor's fighting, I'm buying that card.
Yeah.
If like Khabib's fighting, I'm buying the card. If Israel Adesanya's fighting,
Yep.
I'm going to buy the card because I enjoy watching those fighters fight. Like Stipe, Daniel Cormier, guess what? I'm going to buy that card
Yeah.
because I want to watch Stipe Cormier 3.
That's another one too. That's going to be a war.
Oh, it's going to be awesome because again, Cormier talked about it. Legacy. That's what it's about. It's for him. It's about legacy.
Cementing his legacy as one of the best to ever step in the octagon.
Yeah, as one of the best of all time, pound for pound, one of the best of all time.
Dude, Cormier in his prime, dude, come on, man. How can you not say that dude was ridiculous?
2 words. John Jones.
That's very true. That's very true.
He is the reason why people don't talk about DC as one of the. He's one of the best of all time, but the 3 fights with John Jones,
and we talked about this too.
And John Jones owned him all 3 fights.
We talked about this too. If Jones could have ever screwed his head on straight, the name that he could have made for himself in the UFC would have been on Brock Lesnar level.
Well, think about this though. He's still one of the most recognizable fighters in the UFC, and can still draw a pay-per-view with his head not on straight.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, just think if he had like his head on right. Like,
yeah,
dude, that dude would have been ridiculous.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I'm a big John Jones fan. I love me some John Jones.
The size of John Jones' hand? It's like the size of a cinder block.
Like, you see his wingspan? I mean, him being that big, and think about it, he comes from a good like genetically. Yeah. I mean, his 2 brothers play in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's just a genetic freak.
Yeah, being that big, like I can see Can you see him jumping up to heavyweight if they can pay him the money? Have him and Nagano like a super fight?
Oh, dude, that would be a battle. Because here's the thing, right?
Or hey,
Jones is not
Stipe
afraid.
Jones.
When
No.
somebody stands up toe to toe to John Jones, he'll be like, "All right, man, good luck." And Nagano would stand toe to toe with him and try and hang.
Yeah, or Stipe Jones super fight
That would be another good. That would be a good one.
for the heavyweight strap, for the heavyweight belt.
Jones has got to get. He's got to get right though to ever come back.
And I'll say this, when those riots were happening in Albuquerque,
Mm-hmm.
and those kids were about to break that car window, he's
Hey,
like,
what are you doing?
"Give me that." He takes it away from him and walks away, and like lectures him for about 5 minutes and walks away.
You know
Hey,
that
those
little
kids-
kid saw that
those
dude
kids
and he was
like,
like, "Holy crap,
"Oh,
that's
okay."
John Jones."
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
We ain't doing anything.
We're done. We're good.
Oh man.
Bro. But yeah, man, it's gonna
That
be
was
good.
that was a good card though. That was a good card. That was a good night of fights.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was awesome. Like I said, that's the first time in a long time I like sat down and watched a full card from start to finish. Because usually my butt's like half asleep by like the co-main event. But it was good, man. I enjoyed it.
It was
A lot.
definitely worth the money. It was definitely worth the money. They put on a show. They absolutely put on a show.
100%, man. Well, Bobby, I think
And
that
me and you have always said, dude, the female MMA fighters, dude, they can put on a show.
they've done. That's something the UFC has done a great job in, is growing that women's division,
Showcasing the female division. Yeah.
Yes, and like, just they've
Being
done
like these-
such.
and saying that these ladies are just as talented as the guys are.
Yes, I mean, and I know you've said this before. I mean, just how talented some of these ladies are in a sport that is usually dominated by the men.
Dude, I'm telling Amanda, what if you have never watched a female MMA fight, watch Amanda Nunes fight in a cage, and then I guarantee you'll change it'll change your tune.
Watch the Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg fight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because she dismantled Chris Cyborg. Oh,
Dude, it wasn't even, and she didn't even break a sweat doing it.
No.
She took she took Cyborg apart in that. Took her apart in that match.
And let's remind you of this one too. Holly Holmes, the one who knocked out Ronda Rousey, who was the biggest MMA star at the time, Amanda Nunes
Demolished her too.
Dismantled Holly Holmes. And Holly Holmes is a good mixed martial artist.
She's a gold glove boxer. Gold glove boxer. And Amanda Nunes took her apart.
Yes. But yeah, that women's division, like, minus the Van Zant fight, but the Nami Nunes and Andrade fight was awesome.
It was awesome, dude.
I enjoyed
just seeing them just go back and forth
Yes.
and trade absolute haymakers with one another.
Again, my favorite fight though, man, was Jan Aldo.
Mm-hmm.
Because they stood in the pocket the whole time and was just throwing bombs at each other.
Trading haymakers back and forth.
And again, we said it before, we just saw a star in Jan being born last night.
Yep.
And I think he's gonna. The fight I want to see with Peter Yan is Yan and Sugar Sean O'Malley. Once Sean O'Malley gets some like notable wins underneath his belt,
mm-hmm.
I want to see Sugar Sean O'Malley and Peter Yan.
Well, that's like it's speed. It's speed versus strength and power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And probably, I would argue, probably the two biggest young stars in that division
Mm-hmm.
right now, you know, and so it's going to be awesome. Like
Yeah.
that, the bantamweight division is loaded, and it's going to be. It goes through Peter Yan though,
Yeah. Yep. No
you
doubt.
know. So, well, Bobby, that was awesome, man. I do appreciate you coming on, bro.
That was like I said, dude. We expected it to be an entertaining card, and it did deliver. It did. It was an entertaining night of fights. That was. And sometimes you get that though. Sometimes title fights like that, guys go in there and they have a game like just be it's unexpected, but they have a plan. Usman had a game plan. He was like, we are not going to let this guy. We are not going to let Masvidal do what he does. We're going to make him uncomfortable all fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And again, the guy, but like you said, I mean, just sometimes these things live up to the hype, sometimes they don't. But
Yeah,
again,
I just think we weren't expecting that out of that fight. We were
right.
expecting them to stand toe to toe and swing, and
Mm-hmm.
it was not.
And
that.
just bang.
Yeah.
But again, Bob, remember, it's live sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's live sports, and again, thank you, Dana White.
Yeah.
Thank
Dude,
you,
he's been
Dana
brilliant
White.
through all of this.
Thank
He's
you,
been
Dana
brilliant
White.
through all this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Thank you, Dana White. We appreciate you because you have kept us entertained through this stuff. Guys, again, thank y'all so much for hopping on. I know I've this is I think my second
Hopping
stream
on and
on.
hanging out with us. That was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I think this is my second stream I've done, and the first one was just kind of just me just kind of testing stuff out. So I do appreciate it.
Brayton, you're gonna find out in about 20 minutes. I got me a package today from someone, and we're gonna unbox that in a little bit. So I'll be live in about
Nice.
20 minutes.
Very nice. But yeah, guys. Again, thank y'all so much, Brayton, the Press Steeler fan.
That was a lot of fun, man.
Goose, thank y'all so much for stopping by and being part of the conversation. I do appreciate y'all. Again, I'm trying to get this thing kind of off the ground a little bit. I've been on Bobby's streams quite a bit,
times.
multiple times. The coach plays, been on his a few. Goose have been on his. It's just I think it's finally let's say it's my turn to kind of reciprocate this with some of my friends on this platform. Now,
It's just
like
fun,
I said,
man. We talk about stuff that we enjoy. The MMA has always. I've been an MMA fan for a while now, and it's just nice to come on and talk. Like I don't get to talk about it, so when you do, it's not. It's nice.
Yeah, it's finally again something you're into, but you just don't get to talk about it very much.
Yeah.
And it's nice being able to just sit down and for an hour and almost 20 minutes and just talk nothing but UFC, and guys
dude, let's be honest, it's just growing in popularity too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's going to become one of in the top 4 in terms of major sports in the US.
I think in 5 years it'll overtake soccer for popularity.
As in the 5th one, I agree. And I think it'll eventually overtake baseball.
Dude, it's the popularity growth in the last 10 years has been awesome.
And
people
and that's with the heavyweight division being down the last about 6 or 7 years.
Probably since like 2011, 2012.
Yeah. Right when Lesnar retired is kind of when that heavyweight division kind of went that way.
Yeah.
And usually that's what makes promotions is the heavyweights.
Dude, let's be honest. People like to see those big 290-pound dudes go at that's like it's just like like two titans in it. You know what I mean?
Well, when they had that all heavyweight card about 2011, 2012.
Yeah, I think it was 2011. Yeah.
And and they said, "Why do you think people want to watch the heavyweights?" And not Bigfoot Silva. Can't remember who. Oh, Frank Mir's like, because we're heavyweights, we weigh 260 pounds. You know, it's like if you watch a guy that weighs 135, you think, "Oh, I can beat his ass." You ain't gonna say that to us. We're we're 6'3",
Yeah,
265
you're not
pounds.
gonna do that around here.
You know, we're and again, yeah, and so the UFC is just done an awesome job.
Through
And
all this
again,
too, through all the adversity, they've been the ones there for sports.
if it wasn't for Mickey Mouse, Dana White would have had Fight Island about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for Mickey Mouse and Disney, Dana White would have had Fight Island about 3 months ago. But again, guys, thank y'all so much for joining the stream. Bobby, again, thank you so much, bro. I do appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. That was a lot of fun. That was definitely a lot of fun coming on here and not only like we did our pre show and then we actually watched the fights and then next time we're gonna call it. We'll call it.
Oh yeah, and guys, also be on the lookout for some more UFC content, either from my channel or Bobby's channel, and we'll me and him are going to start doing some
UFC stuff.
UFC stuff, just because it's something me and him are big fans of, and it just kind of adds to.
Well, you don't see a lot of people doing it either, so we're going to start doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it just adds to the content.
Yeah.
And again, guys, I appreciate you again. Thank y'all so much, Bobby. You got anything?
I think that's it, man. I think we like I said, I think overall it was a good night of fights. We got a little bit of the unexpected at the end because I think everybody had a certain view on how that fight was going to go, and it went the complete 180 of what we all thought.
Yeah, 100%. Well,
but you got it, like you said. All that matters is and still,
mm-hmm.
and Usman got it done.
Oh yeah. Well, from the other Coach K and Bobby from Butcher Blocks and Patriot Talk, we are out, guys. I do appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Giggle.
Peace.